And welcome to NAB AFLW Under-18s here from Bond University on the Gold Coast. My name's Julia Price and I'm joined today by Shiloh Curtis, AFL commentator and former AFL administrator, as well as Emma Zielke, captain of the Brisbane Lions. Welcome, ladies.
Great to be here, and this game is is going to be an epic clash between two undefeated teams in this championship so far. So this is going to be this is a terrific way to start our week long here at the Gold Coast.
So we've ruck straight up. Bella dominant, taps it straight down to Tani White, who's playing on ball at the moment. Great solid tackle there from Bremer. Not paid. Play on, says the umpire. I'll have a ball up. It'll be a good ruck contest today.
Absolutely. Lauren Bella's a terrific, we know she's a terrific talent coming through the ranks, still really young, and just she'll dominate this game in the air against country.
McAvoy gets it on the boot, finds her teammate in Braun. Little handball out the back. It's found by Guttridge. She turns around, tries to clear it, gets it to her teammate in Kennedy. Downfield, but intercepted by Ruby Blair. Ruby Blair had a good game last time up at Blacktown. Queensland, big talk. Finds her teammate in Abbott. Big drive inside 50 for Queensland, over the head of the defender in Ross. Big Chunky try to clear it. Queensland spoil it for each other. Top of the 50. Handballs back inside is Grider. Gemma Abbott puts it on the chest of Georgia Bremer. And Queensland here with their first shot, about 45 degrees, about 30 metres out.
Well, certainly Sophie van der Heuvel there for Vic Country. She'll be disappointed. She had the first spot and just gave it up far too easily, and that's what you need to do as a key forward. You need to lead up with intensity at the contest, and as a full back, go with her.
So absolutely true kick there for Georgia Bremer, which takes Queensland to the lead for the first goal of the game. 6 points to no score. Emma Zielke, you'll be happy with the start by the Queenslanders there?
Yeah, it is a good start for Queensland. It's been pretty physical to start off with, but the girls have just looked a little bit sharper around the outside, so that pass through from Gemma was really first class.
And we saw the Vic Country in the previous game they played against Metro. They started a little bit slow, so perhaps we might see a bit of this today. They've had to travel and the like, but you know, I'd imagine that Vic Country will respond with the players in their midfield.
So Tupper clears it out of the midfield for Vic Country, puts it inside 50 for the first time. Vic Country gets it on the boot quickly, goes across goal into the centre, into the goal square, picked up beautifully by Denby Taylor, but can't convert off the left foot and goes through for a behind.
Disappointing there from Denby Taylor. She had so much space back behind the football, and she was only focusing on what was ahead of her and had that difficult shot on goal. So they need to be able to play more 360 football around them.
Good kick out by Queensland, finds her teammate, Grider again. Pushes back quickly. Pops it on the left boot, bit of air under it. Good, well read by Vic Country in Jessie Henning. The ball's bundled over the sideline, just in front of the Vic Country bench.
Terrific effort there by Reen Karras, number 33 from Vic Country. She's a terrific netballer. We know that she's a great athlete, but just putting herself in front of the contest, slipping in the front spot and taking the body contact.
Reen Karras stuck at the back, as you were just mentioning. Tries to do a little chip off the ground, was Guttridge. No avail. Little handball over the top to no one in particular. Queensland gather. Handball back inside from Grider. Can't find a target. Tani White taken without the ball and will get the free kick. Tries to centre it, doesn't hit a target, but gets a lucky bounce. Ruby Blair's pushed up the field. Over the head on the far side is Groves Little. Vic Country turn it back inside. Can't hit a target as well. A few nerves early, I think.
Yeah, and the deck's actually a little bit heavy today. We just did a walk across the field and there's been a bit of rain here, so the ground's quite heavy and the ball won't move as quickly, so they'll be a bit put off today by that to start with.
Yorston puts it inside 50, but it's intercepted again by Vic Country. She puts it straight down the throat of Grider, who's racking up the possessions at this stage. Looks a little handoff around the corner to Gabby Collingwood. chips it into the top of the flank.
Gabby's composure there is just, she's been really dominant in our Quaffle League lately, and it's just showing, and she's playing against the youth girls here, but she's one of the standouts for us.
Certainly, Rebecca Webster just getting caught with the ball there with a great tackle by Lauren Bella, really showing her skills around the ground as a ruck and a defender. You'd be happy with someone like that.
Absolutely, I love tall players that can work below the knees and put in these great defensive efforts. And we know, obviously, her dad with his with a rugby background, that she's a terrific athlete herself, but and a pretty good kick too. What a great leg, a little bit offline, but really great start there from Lauren Bella, who still is not even draftable this year. I mean, I'm sure that Craig Starcevich and yourself, Zilks at the Lions, will be looking forward to the day that you're able to get your hands on her and your team.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we're short on ruck stocks at the moment, so she would be perfect to come into our Lions team. But yeah, we'll just have to keep get her development in for the next couple of years, and she'll be our #1 ruck in a few years, hopefully.
So Vic Country, some good signs here, clearing it out the far side. Down the wing, settling. Finds her teammate in Reen Karras. Drives it further down the wing. A good crowd sort of starting to assemble here on the far side on the stands that have been set up here at Bond University. Good venue. As you said, Charlotte, a bit of rain last night.
A bit of rain, and the ground is actually quite waterlogged. I felt like I was back in Melbourne, Jules, and up to my ankles in water almost. But look, the girls are doing a terrific job, but it's just going to take their time. I think sometimes playing in these championships, it's like the opening quarter of a grand final. You know, everyone's sort of feeling their way and, you know, trying to get their structure in place for the new ground size they're playing on. So a little bit of that today, but the girls will find their groove very soon.
Absolutely, and the one difference between here and Victoria is you haven't got a jumper on today, Charlotte, so... Might have the feel of a Victorian day, but certainly not the temperature.
I was hoping for the shorts too.
We weren't. So far side of the field again. Ball in dispute. Getting a little bit messy out on that side of the field. That was Jordan Allen. Putting it up, trying to find a teammate. Ball again, getting a little scrappy. Can't pick it up cleanly. Tries to put it out. That's Zoe Wood from Queensland. Finds it to Darcy, to Grider again. Inside 50. Can't pick it up cleanly, pops it out the back. Beautifully read there and smothered though from Taylor Denby, smothered by Queensland. Putting out the back, standing on her own is Groves Little, puts her hands up. She's got plenty of space if she wants to run it here. She's gone early to her teammate who's just come off the bench in Bell Dawes. Unlucky, can't hold the mark. Good pressure there from Vic Country. Good body work, Talia Hickey. Trying to make up for a drop mark. And the umpire's paying a free to Bell Dawes.
D.
There's plenty of noise in the commentary box today. We're right above Queensland's coaching box here. So.
And right next to the Queensland coach, in fact. So we're getting all the moves, all the tactics. We bring you the inside information here at the AFL Championship live stream.
So we've got a free kick here to Queensland, so that's Bell Dawes.
Touch on Riley!
Right in front, and actually see what happened for that, Fred?
She just came over the mark before play on was called, so it's 50-metre penalty.
Yep. Right in front should be Queensland's second goal. Not the best looking kick in the world, but it got there.
Got there in the end.
It's only got to go through. So Queensland extend their lead to 13 points to 1 behind.
And look, Vic Country's had their chances. They've been inside 50 a few times already, but when they go inside, Queensland transition really deep, well defensively. So they're able to affect the contest, and they've got ground ball runners to be able to run the football out. What I'm loving about both of these teams is their purposeful movement of the ball between the arcs. They're really looking for the leads. They're creating options for each other's targets to kick to, and they're not just playing, I guess on gut instinct, but they're actually playing really well structured football, having purpose about how they move the ball and moving the ball inside 50 with great precision.
There's a great tap down there to Tyler Hanks, but just couldn't find a teammate inside 50, and good work from Queensland. Great front position there from Briley Bradfield. Couldn't take the mark though. Taken off the ball, play on, says the umpire. This goes out to Ellinger. Finds a teammate in Conway. Drives it downfield. A little bit big. Cooked over the head of Kalinda Howard. Tries to sell it. Gets a handball on it. Good pressure there from Vic Country. That was Bridie Kennedy in that distinctive pink head ribbon. And there's going to be a ball up just at the top of the 50 for Queensland.
Terrific effort there, I think it was by Howarth there. She knew she was outnumbered, and then she was able to just put the hand in to intercept the ball and stop Vic Country running the ball out because they had the numbers.
Good fist forward there from Lauren Bella, inside 50, but no one there for Queensland. Went a little bit too far. Drives it back. It's down the throat of Morrison. Can't take the mark. Tries to inside it. Handball it. Tapping along by Howarth. Can't pick it up cleanly. Gets it on those fluorescent green boots, but straight down the throat of Jordan Allen. Straight down the middle. Good body position. Good body work there from Vic Country. And here we've got Georgia Clark driving it deep into inside 50 for Vic Country. Good body work again there from Sophie Damon. Damon again. Can't take it cleanly. Looking for it inside. That was Georgia Clark again, and there's been held with the ball.
There was much better movement by Vic Country coming inside. They moved the ball nice and quickly, stopped Queensland getting in there early, but they didn't have any crumbers at the fall of the ball, and that Queensland were just able to hold the ball up, extract the free kick, and now they got that all-important rebound kick now.
Jackie Austin, unfortunately, straight down the throat of Vic Country. He drives it back quickly. Can't find Georgia Clark, who had front position, but the kick wasn't executed as well as it could have been. Good work there by Queensland, calm under pressure. Clearing it out again. Good contest on the far side with Jordan Allen there.
I love the movement by Georgia Clark through the middle of the ground there. When she realised she was open in space, she had this great change of pace, and that's something that she's added to her game. She's from southwestern Victoria, hasn't played lots and lots of youth girls football, but you know, last year she played for Vic Country for the first time, and it's really great to see that her game has gone up another level, as has most of these girls. But terrific change of pace from Clark.
Okay, ball on the far side, tries to bring it back inside. I think that was Webster. No mark taken. Top of the 50 again. Try to clear it back down the wing, and a good mark, and well judged by Gabby Collingwood. Finds another teammate. Good front position and good running from out the back. Just overcooks it, and that gets picked up by Grace Egan from Vic Country.
Did you like my friend?
Straight back down the far wing. Little body bump there on Olivia Purcell.
Tori, that's your call.
Queensland. Two players can't take the mark. That was Talia Hickey. Webster again, handballs it back. Little tackle on the ground. No one can take it cleanly at this stage. I think that'll be a ball up on the far side of the field. That's not coming out. Much better and more even competition now. They sort of seem to have settled down into both of their games.
Absolutely, and you know, they're just moving the ball nice and quickly. And we're seeing these high rotations coming to the bench. The girls are looking pretty cooked, so we know they're working really hard. And as we see, a terrific mark there. I think it's Darcy Guttridge. But yeah, they're working really hard through the middle of the ground. This game is really being played through the arc. So when that happens, Ilks, you get pretty fatigued, don't you, pretty quickly. So your rotations are really important.
Yeah, you do. You need to rotate fairly often, and so you can go through spurts, and you know, you want to give you 100% when you're out there. So as soon as you're buggered, you get off and then get back on.
A little chip over the top. Zoe Wood there from Queensland. Gives it off to Horston. Yorston touched off the boot. Then we've got Ellie Hampson, little handball. Beck Webster tried to intercept it, couldn't quite take it. Little handball back to her again. Sells it was Lucy McAvoy. Tries to clear it back in. Queensland running back in through Grider. Gabby Collingwood rucked up by the Vic Country defence. And there'll be a ball up about 45 metres.
Vic Country just a little bit unaccountable across their sort of half back line there, and that's how Queensland are actually creating opportunities for themselves as they move the ball forward. So got to be a bit more accountable and then work hard on the rebound.
There's Ruby Blair with that distinctive low pony. Pushed up the field.
It's a bit old school, isn't it, the low pony, compared to everyone? I think AFLW is sponsored by the top bob, isn't it? What's it called?
The top knot.
The top knot.
Yeah. So good. She's unique. Little kick over the back, finds some space, but rolls through for another behind for Vic Country. That's 2-1-13 to 2 behinds.
And as you can see with the fitness that's developed in these girls over the years, you know, the work that's been put into them, they're able to cover more ground more quickly. So the congestion inside as you enter 50 is really big. So you've got to be able to move the ball really quickly, and both teams are getting opportunities on the scoreboard when they move the ball inside 50 very, very quickly.
So Gemma Abbott puts it onto the left boot. Finds her teammate in Zoe Wood. They've got about 15 seconds left on the clock. She centres it. Doesn't hit the target. Gets an awkward bounce for Yorston. Great pressure there from Yorston. She's earned the free with about 4 seconds, so unless she can kick about 60 metres. Oh no, that's very undisciplined play from Vic Country. And brings them back in the game. They weren't going to be, Queensland weren't going to be able to score from 60 out, but with that free.
And we saw Lauren Bella's boot before. We know she can make the distance, and look, good reward for such a terrific quarter from her. She's really led from the front, from the, you know, obviously the opening touch, but her ground ball work, her tackling, her defensive pressure from her ruck's just been outstanding.
She's going to be kicking from about 40 metres out, like you said, Charlotte, before she can kick the ball. And just misses to the right for a behind. So takes the score for the first quarter, 2 goals to 14 to Queensland over Vic Country, 2 behinds. With goal scorers to Bremer and Dawes for Queensland. Highlights of that first quarter, Charlotte Curtis?
Oh look, Queensland's ball movement, their ball movement through the middle of the ground's been extraordinary. I think they're playing with purpose, they're looking for targets, they're presenting really well, they're catching it really nicely, and they've just settled and adjusted to the pace of the game, I think, a little bit quicker than Vic Country has. So the team effort there, but there's been some terrific contributors across the middle of the ground. Zilks, obviously Lauren Bella's just led from the front there, but you know, Howarth, I thought, has been really strong as well. Ruby Blair's worked through the middle of the ground, and that's the reason why they're kicking a bit more truly on the scoreboard.
Yeah, they're working the ball really well out of defence. As soon as there's a turnover, you just see the Queensland girls spread, and I think that's something that they've really been working on, is that spread in the middle. And I think Gabby Collingwood's gotten plenty of the footy there as well, and she uses it really well. So it's good to have that little bit of composure in the midfield there too. And yeah, I really agree with you with Lauren's ruck work. Just the way she's developed over the last year, watching her follow up with those tackles is really important for a ruck, and yeah, she's doing a really good job so far.
We saw in the Vic Country Vic Metro game a few weeks ago that a bit of a slow start from Vic Country, so no doubt they'll come back from here. So make sure you join us again in about 5 minutes time for the second quarter, and join in the conversation at hashtag AFLW U18s, and we'll talk to you soon. Right, and we're back for the second quarter in the NAB AFLW Under-18s game between Queensland and Vic Country here from Bond University on the Gold Coast. Currently Queensland leading by 12 points in a tight first quarter. We have Bella and Sophie Damon in the ruck this time for Vic Country. Free kick straight away for Vic Country, good start for them. Pop in on the boot, leading forward, great drive. Just takes out Ruby Blair from Vic Country, doesn't quite get it. Ball on the ground again, trying to clear it out the back, Queensland. Little tap over the shoulder by Howarth, tries to get it moving forward. Picked up beautifully by Groves Little, puts it on the boot, over the back, could skid through. Just pulls up short and goes through for a behind. Amazing switch of play there. Big Country on the front foot, getting into the 50, and then it gets reversed very quickly, end to end. Ball cleared out. It's getting scrappy, very boggy down that end of the field. Bit of rain last night. Webster picks it up. That's McAvoy. Tries to put a big fist in from behind. That was Olivia Purcell on Queensland. Zoe Wood centres it, finds Gabby Wood on her own. And that's Collingwood on her own.
Poor accountability from Vic Country. She's sitting up there on the top of the arc, creating the wall as she should, but the defender was far too far away from her.
It was really great
positioning there.
Yeah, by Zoe there. Sent out the ball.
On the far side, trying to run it around the defence. Good pressure. Great pressure from Queensland.
Well, it gives you an idea of the pressure that Queensland are applying. Jordan Allen is one of the most composed. She's probably the classiest footballer, maybe the smoky for next year's draft as #1 pick, but just she had no option to go to there, and she made a very okay shoot. Mr. Guerra. Oh,
that was very unlucky, Gemma Abbott. I thought she'd taken that. It was a beautiful kick there from Jackie Yorston, who's taken a great mark. Switching it up here is Denby Taylor, giving it off to her teammate Georgia G. Can't quite get it, gets a little handball on it, is Sophie Damon. Running through the pack is Tyler Hanks. Puts it on the boot just out in front of her teammate who can't run onto it, and that was Brooke Stryler.
And the difference in that play for Vic Country there is that they had leading players leading in front of the opposition, and they had great runners. Actually, they ran with intensity. They've been very flat-footed to this point, so it's really good to see their more experienced players actually sort of take the bull by the horns and actually play the type of football they're going to want to play.
First hands from Eden Zanker there, trying to tap it to her advantage. Ball will be balled up about 10 metres out from Vic Country's goals. Up again is Zanker. Queensland try to clear it. Great defensive work there from Talia Hickey. Georgia G gets it off the side of the boot, just manages to keep it in. Good front position there from Queensland. Ruby Blair busting through the pack. Tries to get it on the boot. Only can get it out as far as Lucy McAvoy again, and finds a teammate on her own in Olivia Purcell.
Lucy McAvoy is one of the youngest players in this competition, and she's from the Great Ocean Road, grew up playing junior football down there, but she's such a smart thinker, and she's a terrific user of the ball.
So about 40 metres out, has dragged it a little bit to the left, but a good mark at the back there from Queensland. No score. Switches it right, finds her teammate Gabby Collingwood. Oh, a little fake sell. It gets it, composes herself and gets it to Poppy Bolts. Love that name. I think she's a Gold Coast girl, is that right, Poppy? With a name like that, she should be.
That's got to be a Poppy. That's a Gold Coast name for sure.
Beck Webster, outside of the boot, tries to bring it back inside. Can't find a teammate again. Ball's on the ground. It's locked in, and then there'll be another ball up.
I guess the one thing that's really evolved over the last few years with Queensland's team is their use of the ball by foot. Their kicking proficiency's gotten so much better, and credit to Craig Starcevich as he's led the development program here with both the senior and the junior academy, that the kicking in Queensland has just improved so much, Silks. Is that something that you guys have really focused on?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we've been known as just the physical Queensland team for the last few years, and Yeah, a real focus point with Craig is getting the girls kicking the footy earlier than they normally would in Queensland.
Yep.
They're not growing up with a footy in their hands. So, yeah, to Craig's credit, he's done a really good job with the short kicking with the girls and the long kicking, and it's really showing in the last couple of years for Queensland.
Well, it gives you great choice too, doesn't it? It gives you the opportunity to actually structure up how you play the game rather than kick and hope, when you can actually put the ball exactly where you want it. Your teammates can run to positions and you can be a bit more predictable for each other.
Yeah, exactly. You can trust your teammates a little bit more as well, because you know that they're going to most likely hit you on the chest, and it's you know, you can run to the spots where normally you'd want the ball to go, just like that. Ruby Blair's just hit her on the chest. Out in front of Tori, who's one of our really fast runners. So
Work, Ari!
So down onto this near wing. Beautiful work there by Bridie Kennedy. Good control of the ball. Gets to her teammate McAvoy. But good front position from Ruby Blair. Smart footballer. Switches it immediately. Finds a loose teammate.
that's
A little shove.
Ruby Blair does that every day of the week. She's a standout in our Quaffle League as well, and she does that every single game. And she's a real general back there for Queensland and for a Quaffle team at Coolangatta.
Far side. No one can pick it up cleanly. Good contest here. Little shove in the back. No free given. Ball spills out the back. Little accidental chip ahead. Good hands from Queensland, but wrapped up, and that'll be a ball up.
Interesting situation before when the ball was on this close wing. Zanka was coming off and she looked a bit proppy earlier, but she looked pretty uncomfortable, and the ball was coming to her region. She didn't even want to go for the ball. So we'll keep an eye on how Zanka's going on the bench.
Conway over the shoulder. Inside 50 for Queensland. Big Country clear it out to their teammate in Eilish Ross. Drives it down. Finds an other teammate in Denby Taylor. Steps back inside. Beautifully done. Kennedy. Play on. Good little bump from Queensland. Didn't affect the kick. Back inside 50 for Vic Country. For Nina Morrison. Drives it towards the goals. Does she get a little hand on it? And great defensive work from Natalie Grider there.
It's better ball movement there by Vic Country. Again, when they play fast footy, they look like they're going to score. When they slow and they get caught up in Queensland's brilliant defensive spread and their pressure, their transition's outstanding, Queensland defensively. When that happens, Vic Country doesn't look like they're going to score at all.
Yeah, you just saw Vic Country break a line in the defence just then, took her player on, and it caused an overlap, and they unfortunately didn't score from it, but they got it into their inside 50 fairly quickly.
Tyler Hanks tried to drive it forward there, but wasn't getting through Jackie Yorston, who's having a great game so far for Queensland. So she gets the free. Good position again from Queensland, playing from front. Can't take the mark, a little ride in the back, gets the advantage, play on. Down the far wing. Good grab from Collingwood. Pushes back, settles. She's a consistent player, Gabby Collingwood. Been around the game for a long time. I can't believe she's still under 18, in fact. Pops out the back for Queensland. Inside 50. Oh, finds her teammate who recovers beautifully there. That was Sophie Conway. Cops a little knock to the head, but continues to find the ball, get it back inside, and Vic Country try to clear and give away the free, out of bounds on the full on the far side.
Poor decision there by Ross. She had a player right next to her that she could have given the hands off in more space to make a better decision.
So Collingwood is the recipient of that kick. Fair bit of congestion inside 50, and kicks it straight down the throat. Oh, a little bit of panic. Puts it inside. Back to Karras. Can't control it. Still pushing, driving it forward. Free to Vic Country.
Lock on, Jade, defensive.
And great work there from Queensland, and very sportingly goes back to see how her opponent is. Took the wind out of her, I think. Good fly at the back, down the far wing, but Queensland's come up with it again. Brings it back inside. Chips it forward. Good front position. Can't take the mark though. Vic Country come up with it again and clear it out the back. Another free kick's been found, but this way time to Queensland.
That kick needed to be a bit wider. She's kicked to a 1-on-2, but lucky to get the free kick downfield. But There's actually a player on the far side here. The country and the Queensland players are attending to a player who looks like she fell pretty awkwardly in that last contest. I think it's Gemma Abbott who the trainers are now with, but really good to see the girls, all of them, get around her.
Oh, and a great mark there from Vic Country at the back. It shows everyone that she's got the ball. Certainly taken that mark. So well done to
Denby Taylor.
Denby Taylor. And another good mark, Vic Country in front, which is Brooke Strylar.
And this is the first time we've seen Brooke really touch the ball this game so far. She's last year's leading goal kicker from the championship. We know she's a terrific talent. She's not draftable until next year, but it's the first time we've really seen her pick the ball up cleanly. So very good in front of goal. So we'll see if she can give Vic Country their first goal for the day.
She just drags it to the right. Good looking kick though. You can really see that she's an elite kick.
Got a lovely action. I think there's a bit of wind coming across the ground as well. We saw Lauren Bella before fade away to the right a little bit as well. So the girls are going to have to adjust.
She'll be happy if the delivery comes in again like that, because that was a really great inside 50.
Beautiful body work there from Vic Country. Queensland trying to clean up, can't clear it out. Vic Country drive it forward again. Good position in front by Nina Morrison, can't take the mark. Queensland bring it out the near side. Good pace here from Queensland, but can't keep the ball in. There'll be a boundary throw in on this side of the field.
Just see the Gemma Abbott, who was caught up in looked like she was a bit sore and injured before on that far side. She just come to the bench. She's moving really well, and she looks like she's ready to go again. So she's have a rest for the moment.
I think she got a little knock on the head when she landed. Just landed a bit awkwardly. Good tap down, good front position from Karis again. She's been great. Little inside ball, Sophie Conway, very rugby league, very Queenslander sort of style there.
Well, it is the week for it, apparently.
It is, absolutely. It's just the wrong opponent today, but that's okay.
Reset.
She's getting the free over the mark.
So that's twice Vic Country have done that. There's been the warning whistle from the umpire, and they've taken that as the actual whistle to play on. So they've got to just be a little bit smarter about that. Just those small things, those small disciplined acts that can make such a difference in a game at this level.
And unfortunately, and so often that happens when you get brought downfield, they tend to panic and try to kick it a little too soon. So unfortunately, Sophie Conway just kicked it straight down the throat of Vic Country. But to Queensland's credit, they've got it back through the ever-reliable Ruby Blair at the back there. Didn't quite hit a target there, far side of the field. Over the head of both players. Groves Little manages to keep driving it forward. Queensland come through, pick it up off the ground, good below the knees work. Far side pops out the back again. Little snap around the corner by Ross, I think that was. This is Whitford. Now Vic Country. Crowds cheering the Queenslanders on. A lot of Vic Country supporters here as well though, which is great to see. And finds a spare player inside 50 in Jordan Allen.
And well done to Geordie Allen, really smart to run through the middle of the ground. She's come from full back to do that, centre half back.
Good body work, good numbers here from Queensland.
Get there, Ruby, help her!
And unfortunately couldn't control it. From Queensland, that was Briley Bradfield. And there'll be a throw in about 20 metres around from Vic Country's goals.
Well, again, no freedom there for Brooke Strylar. She had a 1-on-2. They were kicking to that contest. They're putting a lot of work into Strylar because they know she's a goal kicker.
Good work there, tap back inside for Vic Country, trying to get that, close off the angle. To the goals, couldn't control it again. Hasn't hit the target. Good handball out the back. Conway, but straight down the throat of Guttridge. She's been good. Time's ticking away here. Just over a minute left to go in this second quarter. Left footer smothered off the boot. Good pressure there from Vic Country and from Holly Whitford.
Holly Whitford's had a really good second quarter. Her work defensively is terrific. She runs both ways, really strong. She's a good user of the ball, very consistent player. So it's really good to see her being able to perform in a top age year like this.
Little handball back, beautiful, well read from Queensland defender. Couldn't get Guttridge.
I feel like Vic Country's having a really good patch right now. It's late in the quarter. I feel like they might be able to sneak one here. Queensland's just dropped off the pressure a bit here, so might look for a late goal.
Guttridge again with the ball, getting it out to her teammate, pops it on the boot. That was Brown, Millie Brown. Queensland try to clear it. Top of the she's got numbers here for Vic Country. Pops out the back, chewing up some time on the clock. Jordan Allen looks for a teammate, but puts it out in front of her other teammate in Nina Morrison. Great work there from Jordan Allen. Oh, and finds another loose player. Very lazy there from Queensland, but Zenka, with about 23 seconds left on the clock. This will be it for the quarter, I'd imagine.
Well, again, the smarts from Jordan Allen set that up. She got the ball. She had a couple of options. She realised they were in traffic by hand, so she looked up, promoted her teammate, and now Vic Country got a shot on goal as a result.
And they've kicked their first goal with about 2 seconds to spare. And there's the siren now. So Vic Country, a goal through Zenka for Vic Country, and that takes the score to 2-3-15 Queensland over Vic Country 1-4-10.
Well, I think Queensland will be a bit disappointed with those last sort of 5 or 8 minutes there, that they've let Vic Country back into the game. They've done all the work. They weren't able to convert so much then Zilks, but they really go in the first half of that quarter. And then Vic Country to be able to come back and kick a goal so late. I mean, those last-minute goals really kill you, don't you, when you've done all the work?
Yeah, it is.
And so now Vic Country are only 5 points down leading into the second half.
Yeah, well, I think they were really patient with their build-up for that last goal there. They just stretched Queensland's defence a little bit too much, and you know, one really good kick out wide, and it opened up the defence, got them a goal in front of shot in front of goal. So yeah, I think Queensland will be a bit disappointed going into half-time, but I think they'll regroup, and I think we're going to have a cracking second half.
Absolutely. So make sure that you're following the live scores and the plays to watch it at AFL Women's as well. Don't forget to subscribe to your YouTube channel and afl.com.au/women's/U18s. And we'll be back in about 10 minutes for the second half of this NAB AFLW Under-18s game from Bond University between Queensland and Vic Country. And we're back for the second half of the NAB AFLW Under-18s from Bond University here at the Gold Coast. Currently Queensland leading 2 goals, 3-15 to Vic Country's 1-4-10 with goal scorers Bremer and Dawes for Queensland and Zanker for Vic Country. Any key stats from the first half?
Interesting that Queensland lead the free kick count 10-3, so that just shows how far behind Vic Country have been playing and also being a little bit undisciplined, a bit untidy in their work. The hit-outs, though, we talked about Lauren Bella's dominance in the ruck earlier, but Vic Country leads at 12-6 and they lead the clearances 9-6. So the work from Vic Country, the resurgence has come from the middle of the ground.
There's Bella trying to get one back and read beautifully through the midfield by Queensland. Just over the back, Yorston can't control the kick. Good intensity to start the second half from Queensland. Pressure again, Conway. And I think that's Yorston again. She's been good. Kicks the ball out in front, but read beautifully off the boot by Vic Country through Evander Hoovel. Another one of my favourite names. So out into the far wing now, Millie Bron, sorry. Clearing out the far side. Pops on the boot, finds a player in Whitford. Pushes back, tries to find a target. Fortunately kicks it. Queensland positions themselves beautifully inside 50 just to cut off that kick. Drag down on the 50 and it's going to be a ball up just on the Vic Country 50 metre.
Just noticing with the Vic Country girls, they seem to be trying to over-kick it. There's a bit of a wind with the direction they're kicking, you know, they're kicking into the wind a little bit, but the number of their kicks have just fallen short of their contest and just fallen into the hands of Queensland defenders who fall into the holes. So got to be a bit smarter with their kicking length.
That was Braun again, leading it down into side 50, but Ruby Blair, as always, clears it out for Queensland. Finds a target. Big kick down the far wing, but straight down the throat of Beck Webster. Vic Country. She's a solid kick, but Ruby Blair, they're just doing a bit of force and backs at the moment. Back to each other. Ruby Blair ducks the head, gets a little handball away. Queensland clear it well. Good front position, but can't take the mark from Vic Country. Can't hold her feet either. So Jade Ellinger.
Numbers, girls.
Can't do it. Clears it back is Damon from Vic Country. Good work from Gabby Collingwood. Smart player, clears it back to Lauren Bella. Not the best handball. Can't clear it out. Vic Country get possession again. Good work from Yorston again. She's been solid. Conway, handball over top. Good smother by Clayton from Vic Country. Onto the boot of Sophie Damon. Inside 50. Good position there and holds her feet. Clears her arms beautifully. And that's Queenslander Ariana Clark.
Get there, girls, get there, help her.
Down the ground, little shove, 3-on-1 here for Queensland. Drops the head in, doesn't get the free, drags it in, but the umpire's going to ball it up on the just in front of the Vic Country bench.
Loving the body contest there with Ariana Clark just a moment ago. The two of them going at it, holding their feet, and the strength of the girls now at this level is just outstanding.
Absolutely.
It's great to see Ari out there. She's had a really torn ligaments in her thumb just this last week, so it's good to have the skipper out there. She shows a lot of composure.
Well, she doesn't look too sore in her hands at all. Really keen to catch that ball and make sure it's in Queensland hands.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Lauren Bella's hooked up to the commentary box because since you've mentioned that she's behind on the stats, she's been dominating in the ruck. Rejuvenated, and a great work there from Queensland Zoe Wood. Intercept, didn't come off beautifully off the boot, but it's read nicely. Oh, to Zoe Wood, apologies. And that is Yorston once again. Top of the 50, tries to find a teammate and finds it in Conway. She plays on quickly, back to Yorston. On the right boot, grubbers it through. Can't find a target. Beck Webster wrestling on the ground there, and a ball up inside, deep inside Queensland's 50 metre.
I'd like to see Kalinda Howarth just get involved a little bit more. You know, that lead that she just put on, she just needs to double back, try and hit it up again if she doesn't get used in the first lead, because we know she's fairly talented. So.
And a shot on goal there by Talia Hickey, and it catapults into the right upright for a behind for Queensland to extend their lead to 5 points.
Bit of a let off there from Vic Country. They left that Queensland player out the back of the contest with no one there, and she had a bit more time and space than she thought. She could have actually finished with a goal.
So we have Queensland here within kicking range. Vic Country not able to clear it outside the 50. Hasn't got the legs, but kicks it straight to her teammate, Georgia Bremer. Very tight angle.
Again, then Vic Country's defenders were so flat-footed in that contest. There were a number of Queensland forwards that attacked that ball, and the ball did fall short. It didn't hit the boot very well off the kicker, but you know, Vic Country have got to be a bit more proactive with their defensive work.
She's gone for the traditional kick, and it's gone straight through the uprights for Georgia Bremer's second goal for the day to take Queensland to 3 goals for 21. I don't know if that adds up. I just did that in my head. To Vic Country's 1-4-10.
3-4-22.
Close. Yeah.
Great. Well, again, the wind has picked up a little bit, as I said before. It's coming across the ground, but it is favouring the end that Queensland are kicking to at the moment, which is sort of helping their long kicking game a bit better. But what I'm liking about Queensland is when they've got congestion ahead of them, Zilks, they're actually deciding to not kick into it. They're just waiting and being patient and trying to kick the to a shorter option to make sure they maintain possession.
Yeah, their ball use going inside 50 is actually quite impressive. They're just hitting up those short little targets and they're not blazing away. So their movement's going really well at the moment, and it's catching Vic Country out a little bit with those shorter kicks.
Well, I reckon at the moment Vic Country think it's just going to happen, and we saw that in that Metro game a few weeks ago. And you know, at this level of competition, and also, I mean, AFLW, every kick has to be really well thought out. You've got to have purpose to everything you do.
Yep. So it's a downfield free for an in the back. This will go to, I think it's Stroller. Brooke Stroller, which is probably the person you don't want it to go to.
Absolutely, if you're a Queenslander, that is. So, I mean, Brooke, this might be a little bit beyond her. She'll probably make the distance for sure. She's kicking into the wind, but, you know, the accuracy might be an issue with the distance here for Brooke.
See that little bit of float to the left, and a good work by the defenders on the line there for a behind to Vic Country.
Again, we talk about undisciplined acts, and you know that free kick discrepancy at half time, and Queensland on the end of that poor decision means that Vic Country gets on the score. But it's those little things that make all the difference, and you've only got 15-minute quarters. It's so quick and easy to let goals go through for the opposition.
Queensland have got to do the hard work to clear it out here. Bradfield wrestling on the ground with Taylor. No one can pick it up cleanly. Try to clear it out the back. Hanks runs into traffic. Great work there from Kalinda Howard to clear it. Does find Eilish Ross, but Tyler Hanks, who's been quite quiet today, normally quite a little bit of a live wire around the ground.
Yeah, she plays that sort of set defensive role in the past at this championships, but I know that the coach, Scott Gowans, is keen to develop her in different positions, and it's good to see her upfield a little bit, but she'll need some more time to get her iron, I think.
So just keeps it in. Keeps it inside the boundary. That is Shania Jones. That's going to be over the shoulder, I think. Queensland getting the free here.
Again, that's one of those poor errors that you don't need to do. She was on the ground. They had the numbers there. They didn't need to give away the free kick.
A bit of a harsh call there from the umpire. I thought that was a good mark.
It was a great mark.
Grider, but she said it was touched. So here we have Kalinda Howarth trying to get it out. Going Grider. Active in there. Denby Taylor gets it on the boot, but just overcooks it and kicks it down the throat of the Queensland defender. Finds Kalinda Howarth again. As you said before, it's good to see Kalinda trying to get involved a bit more.
Yeah, they've pushed her up the ground a little bit further now just to get her hands on the footy a little bit more, and you know, she's a great talent, so she's putting on a few
well done.
tricks, but she might have outdone herself there.
Absolutely, probably tried to go a little bit too far. Georgia Clark wasn't having any of that cell of camp. And that is fantastic defence there from Courtney Bromwich, flying through for Queensland. Puts on the boot immediately as well. Unfortunately, straight down the throat of Vic Country and undoes all that good work. And Jordan Allen read it beautifully there for the Victorians. Far side of the field, Zanka.
Allen's ball use and decision making is just class.
Too big out the back. Queensland overrun it. That's Tyler Hanks can't quite take it. Just probably has lost for a bit of height there on her Queensland defender.
Absolutely. Terrific basketballer, Hank. She's still got another year of football at this level before she can be drafted. But
You're going to say another year of growing.
well, that too. I hope a few more years. But she's just class up forward, and class with her ball use. And no surprises that Scott Gowans has moved her forward. So we talked before about not having crummers at the fall of the footy. That's where Hank should be, not trying to contest the marks, but actually, as we see a free kick there, poor error there from the Queensland defender on Georgia Clark. That might almost be 50 for not giving the ball back on the full as well. But yeah, look, Hanks needs to be at the front of the ball, at the fall of the ball, not the one taking the marks. It should be people like Georgia Clark, nice and tall, great contested mark in the air. Georgia Clark should be able to go back and finish here for sure.
That's probably just a little bit about that role clarity that you have when you're setting your teams. Georgia Clark sort of chips it through. It wasn't a convincing kick, but gets it through in the end to take Vic Country to 2-5-17 to bring them within 5 points of Queensland.
Well, there's game on here. It's 5 points of difference. Both teams are really showing now that when they settle in and they use they work the ball and they actually play to their structure, they can kick goals. So it's going to be a bit of I'd like to see a bit of a shootout in the next quarter and a half. Terrific contest either way, and keeping in mind that there's a whole bay of AFL clubs and recruiters looking at these players, so a bit of an opportunity to show what they can do.
Tap down Vic Country, strong through the ruck, but great, beautifully read again from Ruby Blair. Pushes back quickly in the game, finds a target, can't quite. Lauren Bella can't quite take it cleanly, and she's intercepted by Beck Webster there. Great work from her from Vic Country. Out in front, good tackle, chase down from the back. Ruby Blair, good pressure. Great pressure again from Vic Country and Denby Taylor. They're clearing it back and bringing it back inside. This is Eden Zanker. She's already had 1 goal for the day. She'll be looking for a second. Queensland can't pick it up. It's a bit sloppy down that end of the field. Nice and heavy, can't clear it out. Kennedy. Still a bit messy with the ball. Nina Morrison. Clearing out the back. Good defence again. Livia Purcell tries to get on the boot. Puts it out. Stroiler. Queensland lose their feet. That could be dangerous. And that's a beautiful kick by Brooke Strylart from an angle, and it was all through Queensland losing their feet there as a defender.
Strylart is so balanced in how she moves. She's got those lovely short legs in lots of ways, a really low centre of gravity, and just the class. It wasn't just what she did with her feet, it was her touch by hand, and we know that she's such an elite user of the ball, and she knows when she's got time and space she can actually do things like that. She's got tricks, Strylart, in the forward part of the ground. They played her as a midfielder a little bit in the Metro match, and she sort of was found out for a lack of engine there, but certainly up forward she's so dangerous.
Absolutely, good tap down then by Bella. Moved her back into the ruck after a quick spell by Hickey. But Vic Country have managed to get the turnover. Push a Strylart front position. Ariana Clark, good body work, good strength, and gets away from Strylart. Pops, tries to put it on the left boot. Doesn't get it away cleanly. I think that's Whitford cleaning up on the far side for Vic Country. But a good mark there. Play on, says the umpire. Again, a little harsh possibly. Gets the ball back in. Good composure by Queensland to clear it out the back and get some good yards as well over the head of the defenders. Little shove in the back. Umpire spotted it and gives the free.
I think Vic Country has really lifted their intensity in this quarter, and it's showing. It's putting the Queensland defenders and players under the pump a bit, and they're not playing their structured footy. They're just kind of jamming it on the boot a little bit more.
That was a terrific mark by Zanker then. Called it before that it was Clark, but certainly Zanker. And we saw too, Jules, in the Metro match a few weeks ago, Zanker really put herself into the game up forward.
She did a great job, and she's doing another good job today. Good work from Vic Country. They do look a little bit more composed than Queensland at this moment. Got a little bit of a run on. Ross.
They are setting up well in defence here.
Here would be in front of the on the wing.
Yeah.
So Kalinda Howarth puts it on the boot down the wing, keeps it nice and tight. And a good mark to Eilish Ross. About a minute and a half to go in this third quarter with Vic Country leading by a point. Oh, and she's managed to put her off beautifully. Good body work from Queensland again. Sophie Conway again, getting good numbers up today. Guttridge. straight down the throat of Ruby Blair, though.
Guttrich
Finds
gets a lot of the
teammate.
ball. I'd like her to be a bit more composed. She had more time and space. She was a left footer. Her teammates had protected her. Actually tuck the ball under your arm and run and try and actually find a loose target rather than just bombing it. You know, she needs to be a bit smarter with her ball use.
Throw in, good position from Bella at front. Conway's been good in defence today. Tries to hang on to Webster, who's also been good for Vic Country. Ball's just managing to stay in, not letting it go out. Linda Howarth keeps it in. Beck Webster does a spin, trying to keep it in and throws it out inadvertently.
Interestingly, Zilks, that we talk about Gabby Collingwood's impact on the game. She's had one touch this quarter and look at the impact on the scoreboard. So they need to try and get Collingwood, her hands on the ball a little bit more often.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's a Vic Country identifying that or if Gabby's just not getting herself involved in this quarter. But yeah, she was very dominant in the first half and she's just dropped off a little bit now.
Good work from Conway again. Pushing inside. Big fly from the back by Gemma Abbott. And that brings us to the end of the third quarter in this NAB AFLW Under-18s game here. Queensland 3-4-22, trailing by a point to Vic Country 3-5-23. Goal scorers 2 for Bremer and 1 for Dawes for Queensland. Vic Country, Zanka, Clark and Schreiler. Got about 5 minutes before we'll be back to wrap up this last quarter in the first game of the AFLW Under-18s Championships here from Bond University. And we're back with 1 point in it between Queensland and Vic Country in the NAB AFLW Under-18s game. Shiloh Curtis, stats from the last quarter?
Look, everything's pretty even at the moment, like across the board. Vic Country have had a lot more of the football, particularly in that third quarter. That was the difference. But the inside 50s, 28-16. So Queensland need to get the ball deeper so they get opportunities in front of goal.
Lauren Bella to continue in the ruck, but a tap that back from Sophie Damon, that was, who's gone and moved into the ruck. Sophie Conway clearing it out, but here comes Tupper down the far side looking for her teammate Nina Morrison, but can't hit the target. Follows it up beautifully though. Tackled without the ball. The umpire's picked it up. Ball umpire Julia. Pushing back off the mark.
Future career.
I know, it might be. Queensland pushing back. Looking for a target again. Good work pushing up the field. That was Tani White driving it. Can't find a good front position though. Webster gets a hand in there from Vic Country to spoil.
And that's what Vic Country's improved from, say, the first quarter, where, you know, that Queensland would have taken that as an uncontested mark. Now Vic Country are pushing up, making sure they're applying the one-on-one pressure, and they're in the contest.
Good front position there from Damon. Taps it down. Queensland come up with it though. Good pressure again, Webster. Queensland drive it forward down the wing. 2-on-1, can't take the mark. You've got to be taking that. That was Grace Egan. Little knock off the ball, taken high. Hopefully she's all right.
Those taller players need to bend their knees. They don't hit the small ones in their head. So, you know, nothing untoward, and that just needed to get a little bit lower in the contest. And I think when you're 6.5 foot tall, Jules, it's sometimes hard, I can imagine.
So you're speaking from personal experience there,
absolutely, Charlotte. 5'11" in spirit.
On the far side. Trying to push them back. This is Clinda Howarth. Top of the 50. Big mark. Can't grab it out back. 3 fly for it. Good pack. Big Country pick it up nicely. A little bit unaccountable. And great work there from Queensland, Tani White. And we'll get paid with that tackle. Good pressure. She was just trying to carve through there a little bit too easily, Big Country. Queensland sort of backing off, and Tani White has come in there from nowhere to apply some pressure, and that's what she needs to inspire her team to continue to do that. Drives it inside 50. Big pack, fly from the back. No one's paid the mark. Tap it out the back and gets bundled over.
So 1 point games like this is essentially a 0-0 draw right now. We've got 14 minutes or less than that, 12.5 minutes to play. You've got to play your percentage football. You've got to maintain possession. You've got to maintain, you know, you've got to make sure you're not making silly little errors and giving the ball up with free kicks. So Vic Country need to be very smart here if they're going to extract the ball.
So Clinda Howarth out the back, sells it. I think they've seen that before. Handballs it off. Umpire pings it forward as well. Good defence from Vic Country. Ball's handed off to Guttridge.
She really needed to feed back to her teammates there. She had 3 girls standing outside the arc, and it would have been a simple handball.
So Georgia G to Webster, back to Georgia G. Gets it on the boot. Ruby Blair out in front, can't quite handle it. Holds her feet beautifully. Vic Country. And that was pushing downfield, hangs on beautifully. Is Dee Heslop from Queensland.
There's some great one-on-one contests here in this game. It's just terrific to see the girls really put their bodies on the line and really they're trying to win this game, not defend it, both teams.
Lauren Bella out to Bolts. And they kick it down this near wing. And it's bundled over for a throw-in just in front of the Vic Country bench.
Midfield's on this side, you should look.
So with the throw-in, Bella stuck at the back. Damon, good work from the Vic Country ruckman. Drops on the shoulder, can't clear it out, trying to keep it forward, tapping it along. And gets bumped off the ball. Whereas Ellie's Hampson couldn't quite control it.
Great to see a lot of girls out there directing traffic, pointing, getting people to man up. Terrific leadership from the girls.
Ball out the back to Abbott. She's been really good today, good athlete. Lucy McAvoy, she's been back quiet for the last sort of quarter or so. Nina Morrison pops it on the boot. Pops out the back, she straightens it up. Oh, and she's just missed it. That's a costly miss from Denby Taylor, and she's been excellent today.
Well, again, she had a little bit more time than she thought. Her teammates were there putting the block on for her and protecting her, and she just needed to straighten up. She didn't square those hips up, and Denby is such a lovely kick for goal.
Good position. Play on, says the umpire. Too many hands in there. Pops it on the boot. Clayton, and that's out from full. And it'll be a free to Queensland.
And again, we see the class of Jordan Allen then, just able to navigate that traffic, and her timing with her handball release there is just terrific.
A little bit of a dirty kick. Off the sideline. Clayton again, trying to redeem herself for that last kick. Good pressure from Queensland. Good tackle, Groves Little.
It's a really hot footy at the moment. Very hot. Both sides really cracking in.
Loving the intensity of the Queensland leads, though. Their body pressure is just outstanding. They throw their bodies around. They're quite fearless in how they play their football, Zills.
Yeah, they are. They love to crash a pack. I think all of them, even though they might be a little bit undersized, they still go up for those marks, and even if they don't take the mark, they bring it to ground, and that's what you need.
So Groves Little, good work from Collingwood. Very lucky to get away with that, Vic Country. Big fly from the back. Beautiful work from Poppy Bolts. Ruby Blair pushing up again, trying to chip it forward, hands it off to a teammate. Good handball, but good pressure from Vic Country. Trying to clean up was Nina Morrison. Gets it out the back to a teammate in Purcell. Great front position. That's a play on, says the umpire. Must have just touched the ground. That was a great effort from Millie Braun.
Millie Brown.
Oh, I've got Braun. I can't even read my own writing. Sorry. Big fly from the back. That was Zenka. She's been impressive, and it's another throw in deep in the Vic Country.
This is Zenka's first time playing at these championships, and we saw her in the Metro match a few weeks ago. In the second half, she really came to life, and she's doing the same today here in the second half of this game.
Once she was put in that forward line, she really got into the game. So
their voice and leadership's extraordinary.
So Hanks gets marked beautifully by Queensland. Trying to have to clear it out now. No wall formed, so there's a bit of space here for Queensland if they run it out. She's got plenty of space, Groves Little. Good pace and good chase in Vic Country. Runs past it again. Guttridge, outstanding today. Lauren Bella puts it on the boot, finds Guttridge again. Takes a bounce, puts it on the left boot and drives it deep. 2-on-1 here, backing back. That's good courage from Queensland.
That's great courage by Ruby Blair. She does that week in and week out, and just putting her body on the line at crucial times.
Geez, there are some girls that are hitting these contests pretty hard. We've just seen Becky Webster come off with, she's got a calf cramp from that contest on the wing, and we've got a Queensland player down at the moment who's holding her ankle that's not great, and another Queenslander on the defensive 50 for them, so where the play's been stopped. So, you know, these girls, there's something in this. There's a lot of feeling in this game. Whilst it's a really friendly, fair game, they really want the scoreboard result, don't they, Zilks?
Yeah, I guess when you pull on your state jersey, you wear it with pride, and both sides are doing that brilliantly. They're both just having a crack. It's gone up a notch, I think, in the last couple of minutes, and it's very physical at the moment. So they're both doing terrific.
Absolutely. It's good to see Ruby Blair up and running off at the moment. Looks like we've got Groves Little here with a bit of an ankle injury. Queensland's played on the far side of the field, tries to handball it back out. Now clearing it nicely.
Well, Queensland are 2 down on the bench now, so this could be the deciding factor in the last 6 minutes of the game.
The far side ball up. Plenty of time left though. Only 2 points in this. Bella drives it forward again. Webster puts on the left boot, tries to find her teammate Morrison. Brings it back inside, front position.
Brooke Strollett's got to work harder to get front position there. And that's probably the flaw in her game, is that she doesn't work hard enough defensively as a forward, and she's going to need to be a bit more balanced if she hopes to earn a spot in the AFLW.
Carry to Conway. Conway wheels around. Kicks to space in front, can't be marked by her teammate in Hampson. Good numbers here for Vic Country. Out the back, McAvoy again. Chips over top, finds a spare player, can't take the mark though. And that was Georgia G. Back inside, not controlled by Purcell. Purcell regathers. Oh, that was a little harsh. I was thinking he was initially, but Good defence.
Olivia Purcell, the leading possession winner on the field at the moment with 17 possessions. She's been everywhere today.
She's kicked to her teammate, Bridie Kennedy. This in kicking range for Bridie, Charlotte?
Absolutely. Kicking is probably the area of her game she's got to continually improve on, and she's improved so much over the last 18 months. Second time here at the Nationals, and she's within range. Accuracy might be an issue for her.
It's a good touch on the line. A lot of people flying at the back, but just goes through from the behind. Still win one kick. Either team could win this still. Just under 4 minutes to go. And the ball's bundled over the sideline for another boundary throw-in.
Vic Country's forward line has looked a lot more dynamic with Tyler Hanks in it, even though she's playing as a lead-up forward, which she's probably a bit too short to do that, but they look like they're going to do something when they do kick to her. So great coaching there by Scott Gowans to get that out of Tyler Hanks.
She does look fairly dangerous every time it's near her, so they've done well.
There's a lot of work that's been put into Brooke Strylart. She's not had the impact she had last year, and so I guess that's freed up Hanks to be that player instead.
Absolutely. Hanks has kept it in then, with Bella being able to clear it just. Webster again, outstanding.
Get back!
Puts it on the boot, player in front, can't quite take it. That was Morrison again. Ball in dispute again. Dangerous times here for Queensland. Morrison wraps up.
It's a bit of a change from the last time Country played Metro, where we had Darcy Guthrie's is playing deeper and Becky Webster's playing up higher. It's a reverse from the previous game, and that's paying really good dividends for them. As Zanka throws the ball on the boot, check side, and kicks a really important goal as we go to 3.5 minutes left in the quarter.
That was a classy finish.
It was good that she actually recognised the fact that she had to actually kick a check side kick. She didn't have time to straighten the hips like we were talking about before with Denby Taylor. So great work from Vic Country there. So Vic Country take the lead. 4 goals at 7:31 to Queensland's 3-4-22. Still 3 minutes left on the clock.
And Zanka, look, she's a top age player this year. She's certainly showing a fair bit. It's her first time here at the National Champs. She's only just started playing up with the Bendigo Pioneers, and she's got great body size. She's nice and tall. She knows what the goals are. Terrific voice and leadership for someone who's in her debut carnival. So, you know, the AFL recruiters will certainly be keeping a close eye on her over the week.
And that's Ross driving it back for Vic Country. Keeps in front of Zanka there. She is getting some good pressure from Queensland.
Clean pickup from the ground too for a tall player. Fantastic effort.
Spent it before she had it then was Morrison. Diving in on it. It's Ruby Blair. She's back out there, which is great to see. Ball picked up beautifully in the back. The umpire has paid it. I'm on fire with my umpiring today.
Might put the umpires up here commentating with me, Jules, and we'll put you in the green, I should say.
No, too much running for my liking. Queensland looking downfield. Plenty of time. Need to hit a target though. And unfortunately put it straight down the throat of Vic Country. Hanks runs underneath it. Ruby Blair tries to handball it off, taps her head. Good work from Queensland. Getting some numbers around it. Morrison again, back inside, back to Webster. Hanks again. Hanks is looking, it straightens up and misses to the right. Excuse me.
And again, that ball drop there from Hanks. It is pretty windy out there on the ground, so that she did everything right there. I mean, Hanks's hands are so clean. She's an ex-basketballer, really good level basketballer, and just did all the right things, but missed the ball drop there.
Beautiful kick by Ruby Blair.
Ruby Blair's now leading the possession count for the Queenslanders. Tani White, Ruby Blair, 15 touches in this game so far. Interestingly, Gabby Collingwood, 2 touches since half-time.
There needs to be a bit more pressure from Gabby Collingwood. Beautiful hands, kept in front nicely by Jessie Henning.
Yeah, when the ball's in Gabby's hands for Queensland, it helps the girls so much. She makes really good decisions and unfortunately hasn't been able to get her hands on it this half.
Well, at this level of football too, you do need your top-level players to really stand up and get a lot of touches. And if they don't, there's a massive deficit out there on the footy field. So if the opposition does a fair bit of work on your elite players, you see Hanks get that front spot outmarked by someone who's about a foot taller than her. It's hard to find those possessions, isn't it, at this level?
Yeah, it is. And Gabby's a fairly consistent player, so she's been playing really good footy in our local league, and obviously at the last couple of games she's played for Queensland. So I know she'll bounce back and she still played a pretty decent game, so she'll work harder.
Queensland keeping on that far side, but just couldn't dispose of the ball, couldn't get a little hand on it there. So beautiful work from Vic Country. Centres it. Spots a free teammate, but it's 2-on-1. Vic Country still come up with it. That's great work from Olivia Purcell. Big drive inside 50 and beautifully read by Ariana Clark. And that's the end of the game. 10-point win to Vic Country, 4-8-32 to Queensland's 3-4-22. 2 goals to Zanker, 1 to Strolap, 1 to Clark for Vic Country, and 2 to Bremer, 1 to Dawes for Queensland. Where was that sort of game lost today, do you think, Sean?
Oh, look, I think Vic Country, certainly after that first quarter, they were pretty flat-footed. I don't think they played very well defensively. They didn't create the one-on-ones very easily, and Queensland really capitalised on that. I guess it was almost a tale of two halves, wasn't it, where Queensland sort of did the same thing. They started trailing when Vic Country started to play much more proactive, positive footy, and, you know, you've got to create those one-on-ones. You've got to have numbers at the contest. You've got to promote create some separation so you can catch it well and use the ball well. And certainly it was the work rate there from the midfielders in Vic Country that allowed the ball to go inside 50. And I guess it paid off. Inside 50s, they're 41 to Vic Country, 18 to Queensland. That was really in the second half where that happened. And I guess it was the midfield power of Vic Country that sort of came to the fore and allowed that to happen. So Queensland got a little bit of work to do to make sure they get some more inside 50s through their midfield, particularly with the likes of Bella in the ruck. With that height, quite amazing. So big difference today. I think the game was sort of won and lost through that midfield in the second half.
Absolutely, and Queensland only were kept to 8 points for 3 quarters there. Like, they scored 14 of their 22 in the first quarter. So really big that the Vic Country girls scored 30 points in the three quarters for them. So to me, that's something that just shows that I think they've got that little bit of a slow start. Is it because of their training? How much are they training together?
Vic Country, well, they haven't had a lot of time together, and I think that probably is, and they come from all over Victoria, and I know that doesn't seem like very far away for Queenslanders, but, getting the girls to be able to train together pretty regularly has been pretty tough. So they've been playing in their TAC Cup Under-18 Girls Comp with their local rep teams, but really haven't had a lot of time together as a group in the last sort of 6 weeks, only a bit in the last sort of 6 weeks. So good to see they're coming together, starting to find their groove and play good football together, but take nothing away from the Queenslanders. They were outstanding today, and yeah, they didn't get the result on the scoreboard. They're probably a little bit short going inside 50, but their work rate, their hit, their hard-bodied work, their ball use by foot, extraordinary, and real team plan and structure about how they play the football, and they'll perform really well across this week, I'd say.
And a real mix from around the state as well, Zilks. Like, how do they cope with the training of the girls who are from Cairns or from Mackay or wherever they're from?
Yeah, surprisingly they gel really well together. They're always in touch, but they bring the group together mostly, I think, a week out before the national start. So they train together, and they're on the track 3 times a week. So they do come together pretty quickly and surprisingly work as well as they do with the limited time they have together. But yeah, to their credit, Vic Country just really composed and used the footy really well, especially in that second half. And the more inside 50s you have, the more chance you are of winning, and that's exactly what they did. So.
In games like that, I think, both teams there, there's 0-0 draw at half-time, at the three-quarter time essentially, but, Vic Country having to come from behind and teach themselves how to win, create a bit of belief, and Queensland, will go and reassess. I mean, a game like that's terrific. There's so much learning from that, particularly that second half, where you go back, you look at the vision, you go, okay, well, if we had done this or if we had done that, next time we now know we need to do these things, so that when we're in this position in the future, that we can actually respond accordingly. And, whilst, this competition is not about a national championship anymore. It's about developing, investing in these kids so they get better at what they do, so that when they're playing alongside you, Zilks, they make the right decisions because they've had experiences when they've been growing up. And that's what we want them to do, is go, make mistakes, learn from them, and then not get the result they might be after, but learn from that, and so they become better moving forward into the AFLW.
Absolutely. Yep. But thanks very much for joining us today. Vic Country victors over Queensland by 10 points. We'll be back at 11:34, and I might be making this up, Vic Metro versus the Allies. Very exciting sort of stuff. Follow the live scores and the players to watch at AFL Women's, and we'll see you at 11:30.